I'm not gonna lie to you, viewer. I finally got around to starting Transformers Skybound for the first time over the past week of this video going live, and honestly, I thought it was mid as hell. Is what I would say if I was a lying piece of shit. Bro, issue 1 of Transformers Skybound is absolute cinema. It is peak. Our story today begins in a bar, and I don't even have anything to drink with me while I'm recording this video. Crazy. But we get introduced to Spike Witwicky, son of the war veteran Sparky Witwicky. Sparky is passed out, with his seed walking in stating that he looked everywhere for him. On the side of the panel, we see the bartender and the patron discussing something that they just recently saw. A fighter jet coming down from space, shaped like a box? Huh. Interesting. The guys weren't lying either, as we, aka the readers, were able to step into Sparky's war flashbacks. We see helicopters flying in the darkened skies above, with the Ark, the same boxy fighter jet the guys from earlier were talking about, seeming to be plummeting straight down to Earth's surface, personally giving me the feeling that the two forces here, despite being caught up in their, respective conflicts, are doing what they can to escape from it. I mean, obviously. But the panel continues onwards, and we see a fatally wounded soldier being held by Sparky, along with a broken Optimus Prime. Everyone being victims of the war that consumed them. We also see an image of a rocket taking off to space, but I'll yap more about that in a little bit. Spike asks his dad how long he's been at the bar for, with the bartender, who we now know at this point is Danny, commenting that he's been there for a few hours. Spike also plans to go to a place called Hangers Rock with a girl named Carly, and he was going to take a telescope that once belonged to Jimmy to look at the stars. It's a full moon tonight. Going back to the rocket ship thing though, the story heavily implies that Jimmy was once the older brother of Spike Witwicky, who unfortunately lost his life in an accident on board a space shuttle. Sparky further laments upon this, telling Spike that it's best to forget that the accident that took his brother's life even happened in the first place. Fuck, dude, this is some heavy stuff, huh? We literally just sat down. Oh my god. Anyway, our Joe bro named David here makes his grand appearance, volunteering to take Sparky to work tonight, while Spike and Sparky have one last conversation before he heads off to chase the bag. Sparky tells Spike that he's eventually gonna have to grow up, with Spike replying by saying, "And be like you?" God damn. What is going on? I know my mom and dad would not be letting this shit slide if I said this to them, bro. Oh, good lord. So Sparky heads off to work, and we get introduced to Carly, who owns her version of the mystery machine from Scooby-Doo. The two take off, and we eventually arrive at Hangers Rock. Spike and Carly began climbing a mountain to get the perfect view of the stars, while discussing their lives back at home. Spike got accepted into college to become an astronaut like his brother, but with everything happening, it just made it hard to tell his dad about, everything. Carly, on the other hand, is interested in art schools. Getting the money for it isn't going to be easy, but she and her dad will make it happen. Carly goes in to comfort Spike when suddenly an earthquake occurs, knocking everyone and everything over. A crevice begins to form, with Spike and Carly falling right into it. Thankfully, the two somehow survive. Holy shit, I have questions. But alas, they're still alive. They look around their surroundings after that rough landing, and we see that the two little humans landed in one of many thrusters of a giant alien spacecraft, which us Transformers nerds can recognize is the Ark from earlier. Off topic, but this artwork is so beautiful. Oh my god, dude. The attention to detail with the indents and wiring on a metal ship, to the shading and coloration of the surrounding environment, everything about it is just awesome. Chef's kiss. Oh god, I'm such a whore for good artwork, dude. Oh, it's great, it's great. The kids investigate further, and we all began to bear witness to countless mangled bodies of Transformers being strewn throughout the floor, all belonging to Autobots and Decepticons alike. We can easily recognize Starscream, Optimus Prime, Skywarp, the Goat Soundwave, Ratchet, Jazz, Cliffjumper, even Bumblebee. All fell victim to whatever the hell happened here. Even stranger is the fact that in the distance, there appears to be a jet fast approaching this location, almost as if it's trying to investigate this madness too. The kids try to escape, but the incoming jet enters the Ark and transforms into its robot mode, revealing itself to be Jetfire. Scared shitless, and understandably so in my opinion, the kids begin hiding behind a bunch of debris while Jetfire goes on a short but somewhat plot convenient yap session. He states that he was the one who set off the earthquake earlier as a means to reveal the Ark and its inhabitants to him, and also stating he would try to bring everyone back home if he had the power and the Energon reserves to do so. Jetfire activates a terminal known as Teletran 1 and says he found new forms for his fallen comrades, forms that the creatures of this planet might find familiar. Wink wink. Suddenly, Teletran 1 began reformatting and reconstructing the fallen bodies of Transformers back together, like a kid assembling their collection of Bionicles that they got for Christmas. Oh god, I would do anything to go back. But we see that the conniving bastard we all know and love to hate, Starscream, who's standing next to Bumblebee here, was the first of these Cybertronians to be reconstructed, with Jetfire noting that he hasn't seen his friend in centuries. He thanks Jetfire for waking him up when he suddenly ups pipe and lights Bumblebee up, turning his face into Swiss cheese. This shocked everybody, including me and, well, Jetfire and the kids, obviously. Not Bumblebee, dog, come on! Jetfire argues with his old friend, just wondering what has gotten into him. Screamer retorts back, announcing that he has been at war for the past 100 years and tries to convince him to let him do what he has to do, making Jetfire feel like he shouldn't have gone out for the milk after all. While the two are going back and forth, Teletran 1 is still active, currently reformatting a particular leader of the Autobot faction. Jetfire and Starscream's argue comes to a head, with Jetfire exclaiming that this is all madness. Screamer agrees, turning to his old friend, and proceeds to blow a hole through Jetfire's chest using his arm-mounted null ray. Oh my god! Shocked that his friend would show weakness, Starscream points out that the Autobot insignia on an unconscious Jazz's chest is the marking of true evil and leans in for the kill shot, ready to send one of my favorite Autobots onto a first-class ticket to meet Primus himself. Until Robo-Jesus steps in and starts manhandling this Decepticon bastard. This is why Optimus Prime is the fucking GOAT. Spike and Carly watch in awe as Optimus defends Jazz by hitting Starscream with a clean clothesline, while Screamer tells Prime that he'll do whatever it takes to secure the victory royale for his team. Prime said fuck all that noise and proceeded to suplex Starscream like he came straight out of the WWE. This shit is so tough, bro. Oh my god. Spike and Carly try to make a run for it, but Optimus ends up spotting the two. But instead of sliming the two humans out, he leans in, curious as to what kind of creatures they are. But just then, that dreaded Starscream guy recovers from being suplexed into the ground and starts trying to mag dump Optimus into two puny humans. As he's doing this, Ratchet gets reassembled next and kicks the fuck out of Starscream like he was a measly side character. That pose Screamer is hitting here is low-key kind of cunning in my opinion. Hold on. That is in character. Anyway, Ratchet approaches Optimus, checking in on him and his systems to make sure everything is okay, when suddenly Skywarp awakens next. He copies the leader of the Decepticon Seekers and also starts trying to lay waste to our heroes by letting his blaster sing. Starscream and Skywarp notice that Teletran 1 is randomly bringing everyone back to life, and they use their combined brain cell count of 2 to bring their fellow Decepticons, well, back to life, just after attempting to give the Autobots and humans everything they got. Pause. So yeah, Screamer and Skywarp both put the switch on their guns and letting them do all the talking for him, while Optimus and Ratchet begin to devise a plan. Optimus realizes that his new Earth-based form comes with a shiny new trailer, and tells Ratchet to load the thing up with the surrounding Autobots still strewn across the floor. Ratchet agrees, and Optimus spots his ion blaster amidst the carnage. He tells Ratchet to get a move on, and that he'll do whatever it takes to buy him some time, even if that means providing covering fire for his allies. Soundwave, aka the GOAT Decepticon, reactivates next, and stands next to Skywarp, who is cheesing like a maniac. Our auto-tuned soldier here has Optimus lined up in his sights, and in a rare display, he uses his shoulder-mounted missile launcher, unleashing a salvo of rockets that almost expired Prime's contract to life. His blaster gets sent flying, and Ratchet stops what he's doing to yell for his leader. But Optimus is okay. Sadly, we can't say the same for Bumblebee though, who's still lying lifeless on the ground, with 85% of his face still missing, thanks to fucking Starscream, that rat bastard. This is so sad. Spike watches as Optimus cradles his dear friend in his arms, grieving for him. But frickin' Starscream, once again being a bitch, decides to come in and ruin the sentimental moment by putting Robo-Jesus into a headlock while clowning him for mourning over who he considered to be the weakest Autobot of them all. Not cool, dude. Optimus reaches for his ion blaster while Starscream yells at Soundwave to come and help him finish Prime once and for all. Soundwave is down for the action and ejects Ravage to do the dirty deed for him. Screamer and Soundwave Seed are trying their damnedest to mutilate Prime, wanting to turn him into a Cybertronian-sized blunt. But Spike, watching everything go down, sees the good in Robo-Jesus. He runs out of cover with Carly behind him and tells her to help push Optimus's gun towards him, eventually succeeding in their mission. Just before Starscream orders Ravage to tear out Prime's eyes. What the fuck? Prime wastes no time and wastes Soundwave's sentient cassette tape in point-blank range and knocks Starscream away by flipping over when suddenly Skywarp pulls up and attempts to curb stomp Prime like he was playing Gears of War. Prime dodges the cranial assault and gets an insane idea. He notices even more Decepticon troops spawning in on a match, including the likes of Thundercracker, and proceeds to obliterate Teletran 1! This not only infuriates Starscream to no end, but doing so allowed Optimus and the gang more time to prepare to escape the scene. Since it pissed Starscream off, I have to label this as the ultimate form of rage bait. Shit, even Ratchet was shocked at this maneuver, who had just got done loading up the trailer with the resting Autobots. Optimus grabs Carly and Spike, and we get greeted by this glorious shot. Thumbnail material even. Yo, the art in these comics are so fucking good, dude. I'm about to start moaning in the mic, I swear to God. But fortunately, the Decepticons aren't doing so hot, slowing down and becoming clumsy. Turns out that all of this fighting and shooting burned everyone's energon reserves dangerously low. Honestly, who knew that expending ammo and energy would lead to the depletion of your most valuable resource? A genius level concept that these guys, understandably, forgot to pay attention to during the heat of the moment. Starscream's too angry to let himself be affected by this, and attempts to chase after our heroes while they're making their great escape. The Autobots transform while keeping Carly and Spike safe, and they finally escape the Ark with their lives. While on the run, Ratchet notices that Optimus is carrying Carly and Spike in his cab, with Optimus stating that these two must be natives of this planet. Carly says hi when they realize that both Starscream and Skywarp are on dick, doing whatever it takes to finally gun down their opponents for good. Jetfire does his best to fight through the pain and notices Optimus' absence. He stands back up on his 2 feet and transforms into jet mode, rushing in to protect the leader of the Autobots. The Seekers are putting belt to ass against their heroes on the ground when Jetfire swoops in and delivers a devastating blow to the 2 Decepticons. Jetfire serves as a distraction for Optimus and the gang, doing everything he can to get the cons off their meat and buy our hero some time. He suffers even more injuries and began flying towards the horizon, while Starscream glances at Skywarp and notices that he's slowed down considerably. Skywarp tells the red and gray bastard that he's basically out of energon. It's time to go back, and Starscream reluctantly agrees, warning Optimus and the Autobots that it is on sight. So after that wild ride, the gang on the ground made their way to the entrance of an abandoned mine, with Spike telling Carly that he and his brother used to come here and play with the equipment all the time when they were younger, and that it should make for a great hiding place. Optimus transforms and looks over at Jetfire. The two begin having a conversation, with Optimus catching his old friend up with with him being a new Prime in the 100-year war that broke out between his fellow Cybertronians. Jetfire tried to find a way to save Cybertron, hence why he left for over 100 years to get the milk. But that being reason why he just wasn't caught up to speed with everything going on. Jetfire begins succumbing to his injuries with Prime getting ready to pull out the Matrix. But Ratchet reminds Prime that the Matrix is able to heal things when the time is necessary, but it cannot stop the inevitable. Jetfire asks Prime if there's any hope left and labels himself as a failure, stating that he couldn't find any source of healing for Cybertron during his mission. He has failed everyone. He has failed himself. It's never been more over. So now we cut to the Decepticon perspective. Starscream is on his period and starts yelling at Soundwave, who is cradling Ravage in his arms, to fix Teletran 1, but our auto-tuned goat replies stating, well, he can't. They need a combo of Energon and raw materials to fix the terminal back to how it was before. So for now, this dirty threesome will be our only Decepticons in this story. Soundwave states that he sent out Laserbeak to scout for resources they can use to satiate themselves with in the meantime, and began staring at Starscream, stating that he is the one with the most Energon reserves, so it's up to him to do the scavenging for the team. Soundwave was about to say it's what Megatron would have wanted, but Starscream stops him mid-sentence and urges him to not say his name. He is the one in command of the Decepticons now. God damn, this Soundwave disrespect will not be tolerated. Jesus Christ. Our comic closes by focusing on Sparky and Davey, who are finishing up the night shift at a power plant. The guys are talking about Sparky's relationship with Spike, with the conversation almost breaking out into an intense argument. But suddenly, something crashes into the power plant and it's fucking Starscream. He's violently tearing up the place while mocking Skywarp and Soundwave for making him go out and do all the dirty work, when he spots Davey trying to make a run for it instead of hiding next to Sparky. Starscream sees the little man running, leans over to pick the man up while questioning if he's part of the local wildlife, grabbed Davey by the balls and put the man into a devastating vice grip, begging for his life while Sparky could do nothing but watch in terror as his friend pleaded for mercy. Starscream notes while crushing his bones that this human is so fragile, so squishy, ending the comic by absolutely splattering Davey in his hand like a small packet of ketchup, and this demon cuts everything off by finally saying, "So pathetic." God damn, dude! Alright man, I may be like 2 or 3 years late to the whole Skybound thing, so I don't know how well this video is going to perform in the algorithm and whatnot, but comics are timeless, man. This shit is peak fiction. I'm planning on making my coverage on the Skybound series into a, well, series on this channel, but if you want to see me cover issue number 2, then this video has to crack at least 50 likes. Come on, I mean, I know this channel is dead, but we can definitely do it though, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, even if it doesn't crack 50 likes, I'm still gonna upload part 2 anyway. But still, I'm just saying, you know, for the interaction and, you know, engagement. But anyway, remember to leave a like and consider hyping up the video and subscribe if this one made you laugh or smile at all, or leave a dislike and unsub if you didn't enjoy it or if you hate my guts. But yeah, guys, that's all I got. I'll see you in the next video whenever that one goes live. But in the meantime, please stay safe, because you know the world is burning at the moment, and stay hydrated. I love you guys, platonically speaking, and yeah man, peace and out.